The Lunar Effect is a third-person, tank-controlling, fixed-camera angling, Silent Hill font-using horror adventure game from indie developer Negative Entities, and there's currently a demo to try out on Steam. In the Lunar Effect, you take control of, wait a minute. This guy, who wakes up in a seemingly abandoned old mansion with no memory of who he is or how he got there. All the windows are boarded up, and there's nothing to do really but get out of the starting room and explore. This is all the setup you get. The Steam page just says, "Help solve the mystery of the moonlit mansion." Sometimes, when one stares into the moon stares back. Taking visual inspiration from the Silent Hill and Resident Evil series, I mean, look at that font. Look at those door transitions. Look at this inventory menu. Look at those fixed camera angles. The Lunar Effect's got that nostalgic 90s 32-bit look to it. And even though the game has tank controls, it handles much smoother than the games that inspired it. Unlike those games though, the gameplay in the Lunar Effect harkens back to older adventure games, with an emphasis on exploration and puzzle solving. The puzzles presented in this demo are all nicely designed, satisfying to solve with nothing that's going to break your brain, and there are some quality of life bits that help too. For example, I'm sure in an older adventure game, having to fill in symbols to decipher a codex would have required real-life pen and paper. But here, you're given a handy virtual sheet with a virtual pencil to write in your notes. So you need to use pencils in the game world to write down various clues and such, which is neat. I don't know if I've ever seen that in any other games before. Apparently the pencils can break, and there are several of them scattered around the starting room, but I played through the demo twice and never had one break on me, so I don't know, maybe I just got lucky. The mansion's got a nice spooky atmosphere to it, and there's a lot of flavor text to fill in the blanks in some spots. Like when the character looks out a boarded up window and comments that there's nothing but mist outside, or a forest as far as the eye can see. The whole thing has a good sense of build-up. The atmosphere slowly starts to get more oppressive and tense, even in this short demo. The store page promises psychological horror themes, and while the demo does deliver a couple of moments like that, I'm looking forward to seeing what the finished game has in store for us. Oh right, there is one thing that you should be aware of before jumping into this one. At the beginning of the game, you grab a key from inside a grandfather clock, and doing this starts a 30-minute timer. You need to grab this key to exit the starting room, so it's not like it's something that you can avoid, but yeah, you'll be facing down a timer in the demo, and it appears that this will also be part of the full game as well. Normally, I'm not a fan of games with timers, but I feel like it might work well in this one, and it wasn't that big of a deal in the demo. I finished it on my first run-through with over 16 minutes still on the clock. The timer pauses during cutscenes and while you're reading notes and documents, so that's forgiving. There's no combat in the demo, and I don't think there's any plan for the finished game, and that's not really an issue, but just thought I'd bring it up. The music and sound effects are all nicely done. I liked the foreboding track that played in the background of some of the rooms. It had that airy, Silent Hill quality to it, subtly surreal and atmospheric. Really well done. The main halls and other rooms had this darker track with a more sinister vibe to it. And there are a few other tracks during specific puzzles and other moments too. So all in all, I think it's going to add up to a great soundtrack. The sound effects were all good. The little tune that plays when you pick up items is really satisfying. And there's a lot of tactile sounds, like when you're moving around the pieces of this mobile. To solve the puzzle in the baby room. Yeah, the baby room. It's a fairly short demo, but there were a few things I missed even in the 2 playthroughs that I did, so it definitely invites replays. I had a lot of fun with the Lunar Effect, and I'm really looking forward to the finished game. If you like old school horror games and are more interested in the puzzles than the combat, then give the demo a download from Steam, and if you like it, wishlist it. That's always a big support for indie devs. So yeah, that's it for this video. Give it a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. You know, if you feel like it. I've got a link to my Patreon and Twitter in the description, and there are more videos on the way. So, the Lunar Effect. Check it out. Dungeon Chill. Out.